You need to watch this if you crave chills down your spine. Welcome to Soul Studios. Here, true crime meets the unknown. Suspense lurks in every shadow, and supernatural forces whisper from the dark. We craft chilling, edge-of-your-seat short stories inspired by the eerie, the unexplained, and the most haunting mysteries. 3 new stories drop every week, each one darker than the last. Are you ready to step inside? Subscribe now before the next story finds you.
What if your shadow stopped obeying you? In the shadow's wait, Elliot, an overworked graphic designer, catches something wrong in a near-empty subway car. His shadow lags, twitches, and seems to move on its own. The farther he rides, the heavier his body feels, the colder the air gets, and a trail of wet, decaying footprints begins to follow. As strange whispers echo through forgotten stations and reality thins at the edges, Elliot is forced to confront a darkness that may be older than the tracks themselves. No gore, just relentless atmosphere, true account vibes, and a finale that will haunt the moment you switch off the lights. Love immersive horror that lingers after the last line? Subscribe to Soul Studios for weekly nightmares. Headphones recommended. Tap the bell. Join our eerie community. And remember, if your shadow moves first, don't look away. The subway car rattles through the tunnel, its fluorescent lights flickering like a dying pulse. It's 11:47 p.m. and I'm the only one left in this grimy, graffiti-streaked carriage. My reflection stares back from the dark window, blurred by streaks of rain. I tug my hoodie tighter, the damp chill of the station still clinging to my skin. My earbuds hum with a lo-fi playlist, but it's not enough to drown out the screech of metal on tracks or the faint, rhythmic drip from somewhere in the car. I shift in my seat, the plastic creaking under me, and glance at my phone. 2 stops to go. Then I notice it. My shadow, stretched across the floor, doesn't shift with me. It stays still, elongated and long, like it's pinned to the ground. I freeze, heart thudding. I move my arm, waving it slowly. The shadow doesn't follow. Instead, it twitches, a sharp, unnatural jerk, a puppet yanked by invisible strings. The lights flicker again, and for a split second, I swear I see wet footprints glisten on the floor near my shadow, small, bare, and trailing off into the dark end of the car. A sour, rotten smell curls into my nose like damp leaves left too long in a gutter. My earbuds crackle, and a low, guttural hum cuts through the music, whispering my name. Elliot. My name's Elliot Harper, 27, graphic designer, and I'm not the kind of guy who believes in ghosts or urban legends. I'm the skeptic who rolls his eyes at creepy Reddit threads, who laughs off my co-workers' stories about haunted subway lines. But right now my hands are shaking so bad I can barely grip my phone. I'm just a guy trying to make rent, pulling late nights at a soulless ad agency, riding this damn train home to a studio apartment that smells like microwave ramen. I've always been a loner, more comfortable with my sketch pad than with people. My mom used to say I carried too much weight on my shoulders, guilt from dropping out of college, from not calling her enough before she passed last year. That weight feels literal now, my legs sluggish like I'm wading through molasses. I tell myself it's just exhaustion, or maybe the flu. But deep down, I know something's wrong. Something's been wrong since I started noticing my shadow acting off. Last week, it lagged behind me on a midnight walk home, trailing a few steps too slow. Yesterday, I caught it stretching across my apartment wall when I stood still, its edges fraying like smoke. And now this. I rip out my earbuds, heart hammering, and whisper to myself, "Get it together, man. It's just a trick of the light." But the wet footprints are still there, and that smell, God, it's like something died in here. The subway lurches to a stop, doors hissing open at a deserted platform. Nobody gets on. I stare at the open doors, willing myself to move, but my legs feel like lead. My shadow shifts again, sliding across the floor toward the door, slow and deliberate, like it's testing the boundary. I stumble to my feet, dragging myself to the next car. The lights are dimmer here, the air thicker, and that smell follows me, sharp and cloying. I slump into a seat, clutching my bag like a lifeline. My phone's at 3%, no signal, of course. I try to focus on the station names flashing by, but my eyes keep darting to the floor. My shadow's there, but it's heavier, darker, like it's soaking up the light around it. And those footprints, they're closer now, a trail of glistening smudges leading right to me. I swipe at one with my sneaker and it smears cold and slick, leaving a streak of black that smells like rot. At night, I practically crawl out of the train, my body aching like I've run a marathon. The station's empty, the kind of place where the city's forgotten its own history. Cracked tiles, rusted signs, and a faint echo of dripping water somewhere deep below. I drag myself up the street to my apartment, locking the door behind me. But the weight doesn't lift. If anything, it's worse. My shadow pulls around my feet, too dense, too real. Over the next few days, things spiral into a nightmare. I start waking up exhausted, my muscles sore, my shoes caked in mud I don't remember walking through. My co-worker, Lena, notices I'm off, asks if I'm okay. I brush her off with a weak joke, but I can't tell her about the cold spots in my apartment or the whispers I hear at night. My name over and over in a voice that's almost mine but twisted. I can't tell her about the news alert that pops up on my phone. A robbery at a corner store 2 blocks away, caught on CCTV. The grainy figure is wearing my hoodie, my sneakers, but the face is a smear of shadow. I stop sleeping. I can barely eat. Every step feels like I'm pulling an anchor behind me. My shadow's always there, lurking, moving when I don't. Last night, I caught it reaching, its hand stretching toward my bedside lamp, fingers curling like claws. I screamed and it snapped back, but not before I saw the wet black smudge it left on the wall. I dig into old forums, urban legends about shadows with minds of their own. Most of it's nonsense, but one post chills me. A story about the leaden shade, a curse tied to an old subway tunnel collapse in the 1920s. Workers were trapped, their bodies never recovered, their shadows supposedly lingering, latching onto the living. The post says the shade grows heavier, feeding on guilt, until it takes over completely. I laugh it off, curses aren't real. But then I find a grainy photo of the collapsed tunnel, and one of the workers looks like he could be my grandfather. It's midnight now, and I'm back on the subway, heading to the old tunnel mentioned in the post. I don't know why, I just know I can't keep running. My body's screaming, every step like dragging a boulder. My shadow's practically a void now, swallowing the light around it, and those footprints follow me, wet and stinking, leaving smears on the train floor. The car empties out, and the lights flicker, plunging me into darkness for seconds at a time. In those moments I hear it, a wet, dragging sound, like something crawling across the floor. My flashlight app barely cuts through the gloom, and when I swing it down, I see my shadow moving. It's not attached to me anymore. It's slithering along the wall, its shape twisting, limbs too long, head tilted at a sickening angle. I bolt for the door as the train screeches to a stop, but my legs give out and I hit the floor hard. The shadow looms over me, its edges pulsing, and I feel it. A crushing weight on my chest, like it's trying to crawl inside me. My vision blurs and I see flashes. The corner store robbery, a knife glinting, blood on the floor. Not memories. Things my shadow did. Things I'll be blamed for. I claw at the floor, dragging myself toward the platform. The air's thick, the smell of decay choking me. My flashlight catches a sign. Maintenance Tunnel 7A. The collapsed tunnel. I stumble inside. The walls slick with moss and something darker. The shadow follows, its wet footsteps echoing, and I hear my name again, hissed in that twisted voice. Elliot, give in. I collapse against a rusted gate, my body shutting down. The shadow's right behind me, a writhing mass of black, its hands reaching cold and wet. I'm out of options, out of strength. But then I see it. A crack in the tunnel wall, where the collapse happened. Bones are wedged in the rubble, glinting faintly, and I know this is where the shade was born. With my last bit of energy, I lunge for the crack, shoving my hand inside. The shadow screeches, a sound that rips through my skull, and the weight on my chest doubles. My fingers brush something cold, a rusted locket etched with initials I don't recognize. I yank it free, and the tunnel shakes, dust raining down. The shadow surges forward, but I smash the locket against the ground, and it shatters. The shadow implodes, collapsing into a puddle of black, reeking sludge. The weight lifts and I gasp, air flooding my lungs. The tunnel's silent now, the wet footprints gone. I stagger back to the platform, the train waiting like nothing happened. But when I get home, I can't shake the feeling I'm not alone. My shadow's back, normal, following my movements. Except, sometimes late at night, I catch it twitching. And last week I found a wet black smudge on my floor, smelling faintly of decay. Worst of all, the news reported another robbery last night. Same hoodie, same sneakers, same blurred face. As the subway's hum fades, I'm left wondering if Elliot's shadow ever truly let go, or if it's still out there, lurking in the dark, waiting for its next host. The leaden shade may be buried, but some curses don't die so easily. Tune in next time for another descent into the unknown, and sleep with the lights on. You never know what your shadow might do. When your shadow moves before you do, it's not just following, it's hunting.
Every story has an end, but here, the mysteries never stop. Thank you for watching and being a part of this journey into the unknown. Your support keeps these stories alive, and there's plenty more waiting for you. We drop 3 new stories every week, so if you crave suspense, the unexplained, and the downright chilling, make sure you're subscribed and ready for what's next. Until then, keep your lights on, your doors locked, and remember, some stories stay with you long after they're told.